Hello, today is April 3rd. There is some very detailed satellite map coming out. So let's take a look at the Mariupol. First of all, we see most of the fighting happen right now around the second steel factory, which is this area. So here is the administration area of the factory, and this is a residential area. The black one is the shadow of the cloud. Here you can see their mirror, like similarly. Um, you can see this cloud also has a mirror here. So basically, this north side is a residential area, maybe connect to the factory. So they are maybe connected or maybe not. I'm not very sure, but more likely to be they are connected. So this whole area might be held by the Ukraine soldier. So the fighting parameter is around 1,000 eyes of this factory, which maybe we can see it more clearly through the clear map. So the 1,000 eyes of the fight is simply to be around the hospital, around this area. There is another fight around this area. This area fight has been going on almost for a week. So that is surprising because this is mostly a residential area. So that's so that even like the street fight is very tough. I'm not sure who occupied the floor of the factory right now. There is no information on that. But it seems to be on the southern, like a Broadcast Avenue to the south. There is already controlled by the Russian, and also this street and the south also controlled by the Russian. And when I saw some earlier satellite images, this area also been had some fighting 2 weeks ago. So maybe this area already been controlled by the Russian. So let's go back to our detail map. This is a two hotspot area. Like across the southern street, there are also fighting. Seem to be indicate that at least 40% of the factory are still controlled by the Ukraine soldier. Another area, let's go to the south. We can see the port area used to be like the whole area is port. Just 1 kilometer from the port, there was several hotspot fighting going on. These are mostly residential area, although there are some office building. So this one has been quiet since the beginning of the war. Like after the downtown almost finished, they are starting to become a fighting area. It indicated to me that there might be some of the remnant of the Ukraine force they hid in the residential area, and now the Russian soldier is checking house by house. they encounter the Russian force and started fighting in this area. But to me, surprisingly, they have a big area of fighting. That means potentially they are trying to threaten the port. But this is residential area, so I think the fight wouldn't be as difficult as in downtown or inside the factory. So I would expect this to finish in a few days, like 1 or 2 days. This map is actually happened in April 3rd, so it's actually today. It's just a few hours ago. Another surprise is that we can see the airport also has a fight. So that's something surprising. That's very surprising. The airport still has a fight. Not actually inside the airport. Let's check the detail map. So it's outside on the outskirt of the airport. So on the outskirts of the airport, so in this area, maybe it's a storage building or military storage system. So this is something also very new. I thought that the airport already been controlled by the Russian. So seem to be some fighting still going on the right. So these are the situation seem to be Mariupol fighting still going on. There are Russian attack house by house, and there are some major hotspots like in near the port, near the airport. Downtown seems to be relatively quiet. There is only 2 hotspots. The 2 are both in the residential area. So this is close to a cemetery. I assume it's just a small team of Ukraine soldiers encounter a Russian soldier. On the other side, most of the array steel factory are kind of quiet. The east side is covered by the cloud today. But we can see from bigger map also reflect, right? The 2 hotspots we just talked about in this area. Also a hotspot at the airport and a hotspot near the port of the Mariupol seaport. So there's only 1 small dot in the east of the array steel. So most of the fight is still in this around this factory and also near the port, and they are full hotspot, so quite far from over the fight. This also implies one thing, that urban warfare, like both sides, because as we said earlier, like Ukraine is a flat country. In the wintertime, there's no tree or crop, so you have no place to hide. The defender would have to use the building, like including both office building, factory, residential building, and the attacker also has to go through the building. The attacker usually is much more difficult, because if someone hides inside a wall, there is not so defense, but if you outside, there's no defense. So I think the attacker may get frustrated and eventually use artillery rocket to hit the building, and that's very difficult fight. From this, we can also imply that this Mariupol already fought for a month, and still haven't taken over. Russian withdrawal from Kiev area. Let's see, Russian withdrawal. See, I don't have exact information, because Russian didn't give detail about the withdrawal. Like Ukraine only did not give too much information about what they occupy. Basically, that Russian already gave up Chernobyl, which is the eyes over here. So we can see in the next few days, all this area will be recovered by the Ukraine soldier. So we expect all the north area to be gone. On the other hand, there is not much information about the detail. There are just some small progress in Severodonetsk, and also a small progress in here. Yeah, this small place is still fighting. The Russian claim they occupy most part of the Novorossiysk. This city. This is a small city. This is a very heavily armed Ukraine village and city. This is a strong Ukraine defense line. So from this, we can see that the urban warfare is extremely difficult for both sides, especially more difficult for the Russian. I think Russian now has withdrawn from the north. I think they finally realize they don't have the strength to occupy the whole Ukraine, even to the whole Ukraine east side. They are now limited to the southeast side, which is this area. So they're still about like 50% of the territory, and Donetsk in occupied Ukraine. I think most of fight will be soon happen in here, but seem to be most of fight will happen after the Chechen soldier has finished the Mariupol. So that's our estimate. What will be happening. And another thing is that Russians seem to be relatively serious about the talk. But on the other side, Zelensky, the president of Ukraine, has been very bullish right now. Like he is saying Ukraine want nothing about a victory over all the territory. So it seems to be that Ukraine want full Russian withdrawal to claim the Russian all the newly occupied territory by the Russian. But I think that means Russia will completely lose their face. That won't happen. Putin is not going to do that. So I expect the fighting will continue for quite some time. Thanks for watching, and if you like the presentation, please hit the like button and subscribe. Thanks, bye now.